Alright, step 1, get your D&D Monster manual. Step 2, pick a random page. Step 3, get the monster. Step 4, let's actually proceed to make this guy. So for any of you guys who have actually missed it, this is a part 2 in my Ancient White Dragon sculpt, and if you haven't already, definitely go check out number 1. I'm pretty proud of how that all came out, as well as it said just a fun way to actually understand a better idea of how my design philosophy for this guy has been working. So yeah, go check that out. And if you like it, definitely go throw me a like and a sub, because I would really appreciate it. Alright, now finally back to this guy. So I still find it kind of funny for my second time doing this challenge, I immediately pulled like an Ancient White Dragon. Because like just the concept of doing an Ancient White Dragon that feels like it's supposed to be something like really just marvelous, grandiose, and it has such an aura about it. And trying to do that at a relatively quick speed is utterly insane. Like I've been struggling to. And that's actually a big reason for why this is actually divided up into multiple parts. Hopefully for the next video what comes out, I should realistically be done with it. Well, the sculpt at the very least, and then like I may do a fourth one where I try to pose it all up, but get it ready for like a sort of like miniature stand sort of thing where it could potentially be a proxy. Who knows? We'll try to like add it into a scene and see how well that goes. Because that is definitely like a long-term goal of mine to actually start up my own proxy service. So I should really probably try to get into the habit of it. Trying to think of how to design something in a way that actually work really well for a miniature and just stuff like that. So let's definitely practice that and see how well it goes. And if any of you guys would be interested in that, please let me know. Because surprisingly, guess what? Like I actually want to make a living off of art and do this full time. So I feel like a proxy service is definitely like a good way forward. So yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, I really don't like the jobs I have right now. They're kind of getting to me. So yeah, now finally back to talking about the sculpt itself. So what I've been doing here a lot is actually trying to like re-augment the shape and trying to give it a more aggressive shape language. Because I felt the head, yeah, I liked how sort of like stubborn it was. It gave off a very like flat tone of, hey, yeah, no, this is definitely a brutish character. But it didn't have like that sort of like sinister predator like aura I wanted. So that's why I actually went about like augmenting the face to have it a lot more angular. Because I don't know if you guys are aware of like the whole like shape theory of it. But when it comes to like aggressive sort of like sinister designs, always have it more triangular. So like think of it like this, your three primary shapes whenever it comes to like good character or creature design are always going to be based around a square, a circle, and a triangle. The use of squares are typically to like portray something being very strong, it's solid, like a good foundation, because hey, it's hard to knock over a square. And then circles, they're soft, they're round, they're sort of like used for like say younger characters or sweeter things. Because like from the softness of it, you don't really like feel too much aggression or anything from that. It's very approachable, it's very kind, it's very nurturing. But then from the triangle side of it, it's very aggressive, it's angular, it's sharp, it's pointy, it's not welcoming. So like that's where I was trying to like get in these sort of sharp, jagged edges to it, like that seemed to like work really well for it. Because in my opinion, like all the angular elements of this really does make it feel unwelcoming. As well as like what I was doing for those in particular, they weren't like scales or anything, but they were like little ice shards and stuff popping out of it. And that was actually a suggestion a friend of mine had where they were saying, hey, it may work really well to have like this ice like armor of it to really help like narrow in the elemental vibe of this creature. And that really is something I want to narrow in on, because say for most chromatic dragons, you don't really get too much of the elemental flavoring from it, from the designs outside of the like coloration, but even then the coloration can be sort of just a more of a hint towards it instead of like a flat out like blazing thing. So I felt like the idea of an ancient one of the species of it would actually be sort of like reefed in it. It would have such a strong connection to it, like you can barely like separate the element from the actual living entity, so it actually feels more as if it's like nature personified in a way. And that's a really cool concept to me, because I really love like dragons and stuff like that being a sort of like primordial concept, and it being sort of like so entwined to like the natural world, like it's literally just, you can't tell where one ends and one begins, and I love that. I love that design motif so much. So I'm really gonna try and incorporate that to like all the future sort of dragons I do, especially sort of the chromatic, because I feel the metallic, I feel like if you sort of go more for like the actual sort of hybridization of the metal as well as like the from earth sort of vibe, I feel that would work pretty well. So it's definitely gonna be a evolution of the design process, especially for when I actually get to doing each and every one. Like I'm really looking forward to it, especially the blue dragon, because I want to see how well lightning and that sort of stuff would work. So stay tuned for that. So if you do want to see more of this, definitely drop me a sub and stay tuned for more, because I really am enjoying the series, as well as like just really enjoying making stuff. So yeah, be part of the community, stay tuned. I'm genuinely never gonna get used to plugging my stuff like that, but hey, I guess it's just how the algorithm and like content game is, so yeah, sorry about that. Like, just you guys wait until I'm dropping, like, the NordVPN and, like, HelloFresh ads and good old Raid Shadow Legends. Like, does anyone actually still get those? Like, I don't know. But to be fair, I feel like, due to the nature of actual creature and character design, I feel I would be a perfect suited, like, creator to advertise that. Granted, yeah, I've never played it, but I'm pretty sure the second they toss me a few bands, I am 100% gonna be, like, riding that thing till the end of time. Like, come on, respect the sellout, guys. Like, I'm 100% switching up. And speaking about switching up, from actually watching, like, this recording of it, I do feel I definitely need to, like, re-augment the proportions a bit more, because I feel it needs to be a tad more elongated, as well as, like, the wingspan. It needs to be, like, just, again, like, stretched out, because it doesn't feel like it's going to generate enough lift. Because looking at it now, it gives off the vibe more of a sort of, like, landlocked predator. Like, I know I was looking into the feline, sort of, like, more bear-like proportions of it, but I don't know, just something about it needs, like, that little more length to it to really, like, properly sealing the dragon vibe. Because, like, yes, this one does feel very jacked, but I just feel it needs a little more stretch to it, and then, like, mwah, chef's kiss. And that really is something I do love about, like, digital sculpting and just modeling in general, because it's very easy to augment something once you've realized, hey, it needs a bit more work here, here, and here. Like, it's nowhere near as easy as what it is whilst doing, like, traditional, like, drawing and stuff like that, because working in 2D, you don't really have to think about, like, the whole shape of it. You're able to, like, sort of imply things a lot easier, so when it comes to actually sculpting, you have a lot more work to do when it comes to getting things in proportion. But then, weirdly enough, once you have everything done for a sculpt, it's then easier to just, like, use it from any possible angle. So instead of, like, having to draw everything once over, you just have to, like, just slightly change the camera, and then it's, like, all good to go. Like, that's one benefit I really do love it, like, a concept to work in digital sculpting and stuff like that. And that does actually remind me, I really do need to work on my 2D art presentation, because it's definitely not the greatest and can use a lot of work. As well as, like, I feel like once I actually come up with, like, sketches and stuff like that, I feel it probably, like, allow me to come up with all these ideas and actually produce them a lot quicker once I have a baseline idea. Because, say, for how I work in particular, I'm very go with the flow, pick up ideas as I go, and it is fun. Like, I do feel it's very freeing and liberating, but I definitely need to, like, learn how to rein that in so I'm able to actually come up with these things a lot quicker. Because, not gonna lie, your boy can take a while to actually do stuff. But hey, these ice spikes weren't planned, and I feel they are a very, very welcome addition, because it really does give this guy a lot more visual flair and sort of, like, distinctness compared to, like, other, like, white dragons, especially, like, other, like, miniature proxies and stuff I've been seeing on the market. Because, I don't know, I want this to feel like it's a sort of, like, Nova original, like, something really done by me. And I like that, so definitely going to be playing around with that a lot more. One thing I will have to keep in mind, though, is I don't want to overdo it with them. Because, say, for shoulders and head, I feel that's fine, but, like, these eyebrows, I don't know, that just felt like it was a tad too much at points. As well as, like, I don't think the chest has, like, enough space to, like, really facilitate all that. So I think for, like, the next go around, I'm going to try and, like, limit that down a bit more, as well as, like, just keep it a bit more refined, so it's not, like, too messy visually. And, like, that is something I will openly admit I do have a bit of an issue with, going a bit overboard and just, like, losing a lot of the visual language and just, like, this absurd amount of detail. So trying to find, like, a good natural in-between is something I'm constantly striving for, and something I cannot recommend enough for anyone who's, like, trying to get into, like, creature arts. Especially for, like, fantasy stuff, because there's going for the full fantasy element, but then there's also, like, limiting yourself to think, like, okay, yeah, now this should actually still be able to move in some capacity. Like, say, for example, like, the sort of shoulder, well, I guess, like, hip ice spikes, those would be, like, going into the wings, so I'm gonna have to augment that slightly to try and get it all, like, fitted accordingly. So it's definitely a good thing to just play around with that. And that's a term I've actually been thinking about a fair bit recently, play around with that. Or just, like, playing with something, because I've been getting a lot of, like, questions recently of, like, hey, I want to get into Nomad, I really like how you sculpt, oh, I've struggled to get into it, do you have any sort of, like, tips for people how to really, like, just learn how to do something like this? And, like, that's actually something I've been saying for a while now, like, just have fun with it, just have a good time, just play with it, because playing is such a useful tool. Like, I think we begin to forget that as we get older. Like, a lot of ways people actually do learn as a child is actually via playing. Like, say, for example, like, you would learn a lot of social skills by playing with sports. You learn like math skills from like math games and just like that. You just understand basic concepts a lot easier when you're doing it in a fun sort of environment. So like that's why I feel like art should always be also taken with a very big handful of just like fun, just not taking itself too seriously. Because I feel if we're always taking it way too seriously, you're not going to actually enjoy the process. Because like that's what this is at the end of the day. It's a fun process I really enjoy, as well as like something I know a bunch of other people will be enjoying. So just learn how to play, have fun with it, and you're gonna like go forward leaps and bounds. It's such a incredible thing. Okay, so now let's actually get back to the dragon design itself. So these two parts were actually from different sculpting sessions I had, and between those I was actually looking into like key characteristics the white dragon will have, and one of them is actually fairly pronounced like a ulap. Basically like that little piece of skin underneath it, like that sort of chin and neck. And I wanted to make that fairly prominent, but I also thought it'd be fun to also have like a sort of like mirrored sort of like spinal scale sort of like fin thing on the back of the neck, just to really give it a bit more like pizzazz and sort of just jazzy stuff like that. As well as like I did something I don't normally do, where I actually began to like paint up the model to have a bit more of an understanding of what I'm trying to do, as well as sort of just the vibe it will have like later on. And that did make me realize how I actually want this thing to look at towards the end, so it made me start thinking about, okay, how are the scales going to be and stuff like that. So what I actually did was look up a video on how to actually make alpha stamps on Nomad. I found this really great video by Chaos Costumes. She's a lovely, very talented creator. I highly recommend go checking her out. I'm actually mutuals with her on TikTok, so yeah, thanks Blair, you're amazing. Yeah, love your work. And the video itself was super informative, but like definitely go check it out. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was really bad for following the instructions because I kept on trying to do my own thing way too quickly, but I did actually go off stream to like try practicing this out, and oh my god, the results were night and day. So yeah, definitely listen to everything she says. Don't be a stubborn little asshole like me. So that's definitely gonna help later when it actually comes to like finally finishing this guy off, because I feel like we're getting towards the stage of like, okay, I can probably actually finish off all the primary and secondary forms and actually finally focus on tertiary details. So that's more than likely going to be the next part of this sort of like, I want to say, saga of the Ancient White Dragon. So definitely stay tuned for part 3 as soon as that comes out. And if you will be interested, I will definitely be making this on live streams on YouTube as well as TikTok, so definitely go check those out. So if you guys like what I've been doing today and want to see more, definitely drop a like, a sub, and turn on notifications so you're ready to see more as soon as that comes out. So yeah, thank you for everyone who's watched this so far, as well as like a special thanks to my Ko-fi members. Or Ko-fi member, Holly, thank you, you're still the best, I appreciate you so much. And yeah, if you guys do want to help support me even further, definitely go check it out. You will get a shout out in each video, as well as like some custom like Ko-fi stuff, as well as just, yeah, I don't know, I just appreciate it. Also, might as well plug the Discord. It's a great little community, a bunch of just artists sharing stuff. Honestly, it's pretty nice, the people there are lovely. So yeah, if you want to join there, as well as like if you want any other tips on Nomad, I'm fairly active on there, so just throw a few messages, and I'll definitely try to get to them. So once again, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more. Bye!